After 10 seasons, the Charlotte Hornets finally have a chance to make this year's playoffs, with teams being weakened in the Eastern Conference. On top of that, the Hornets are finally starting to put together enough veterans and depth on this roster to be able to weather the storm of injuries, and if LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, and guys like that can stay healthy for the entire season, then we could be looking at something special in Charlotte, which would mean like winning a playoff game. But hey, we'd love to see it for the first time in 10 years. As I said, we are going to need somebody to step up at center, however. Now, Jeff Peterson deserves a lot of the credit for trying to bring Charlotte back out of poverty. My favorite move from the offseason was bringing back Trey Mann on a 3-year, $24 million contract. That's going to be looking like a steal about 12 games into the season, because this man is a monster. He should be a 6th Man of the Year candidate without a doubt. Was a 6th Man of the Year candidate last year when he was averaging 14, 3, and 3 in just 24 minutes a game as a 23-year-old, while shooting 44% from the field and 40% from 3 on 4.5 attempts. However, after the 13th game of the season, he didn't play for the rest of the year. So, investing into Trey Mann, he proved he can be a great 6th man, and having him for next year will be great. You also have Colin Sexton, another guy here who usually you don't want your GM doing business with Danny Ainge. But we came out as the winners of this trade, giving up Jusuf Nurkic and getting Colin Sexton and a pick in return. He averaged 18.4 points, 4.2 assists, 2.7 rebounds, and 0.8 steals in 28 minutes a game last year. Shot 48% from the field and 41% from 3. That's fantastic efficiency. I know he's a smaller guard at only 6'2", but he has a 6'7" wingspan, so he can play a couple inches taller than he actually is. And if this is the backup backcourt, man, that is exciting, although we could see Colin Sexton in the starting unit alongside of LaMelo Ball. Not sure how that'll work out, however, but per 36 last year, his numbers were off the charts, almost 24 a game, with 5.5 assists, 3.5 rebounds, and a steal. Ridiculous numbers for Mr. Sexton. Then you have Knueppel, who is a phenomenal addition to this squad. The fit for him is going to be amazing in Charlotte, and the dude just wins. I mean, he only lost 3 games last year in college, then won the ACC tournament, the Summer League tournament, and made it to the Final Four. Now, yes, Ace Bailey and Trey Johnson were definitely better prospects in my opinion. Neither one of those guys would fit into this lineup, right? You can throw Con at the 2 and he can make an impact from day one. Or you can throw him into the 3 off the bench, and wherever you plug and play him, he's going to be a monster. He's 6'6" with a 6'6" wingspan, can absolutely shoot it, especially off the catch, knocking it down right there. Average 14.4 points a game, 4 rebounds, 2.7 assists, a steal in 30 minutes a night, shot 48% from the field and 40% from 3 on 5.3 attempts a night. He is, like I said, a sniper, catching out of the corner. And looking at the Summer League stats, where he averaged 15.5 a night with 4.8 rebounds, 3.8 assists, and 1.2 steals in 5 games played, it's looking like he's going to transition very nicely to the NBA. Looking at some of these Duke plays where coming off pin downs, that's where he excels, and that's what we saw Charles Lee drawing up a lot for Brandon Miller last year, coming off of pin downs and getting to spots and knocking down shots. Knueppel can do this, coming off the flare screen right here. Nice trip by Malowacz, and that's something he thrives at, as well as getting downhill and using his body if he's got a smaller defender on him. He's 215 pounds. Yeah, Knueppel is going to be fantastic this year for the Charlotte Hornets. Really excited for him. He works well out of the pick and roll as well. There's really no weakness to his game. I'd say the biggest weakness for him is he doesn't have a true strong suit other than shooting, but I mean, he'll be just fine. I loved our second first-round pick where we traded Mark Williams in exchange to get Liam McNeely, and we got a future first that will be into the first round later on. Now, I would have liked to keep Mark, but bringing in Liam McNeely is fun as well. I mean, 14.5 points, 6 rebounds, 2.3 assists last year as a true freshman at UConn, was first-team all-freshman team in the Big East Conference. Now, yes, his efficiency was downright disgusting, but it will be fixed because he's a guy that will play off the ball. He is now catching passes from guys like LaMelo, Colin Sexton, and Brandon Miller. He's also 6'8" with a 6'8" wingspan, and proved in the Summer League he could be a great catch and shoot guy. He was just playing out of position and out of character in college, having to be a guy that created for himself. Then you get to Caulk Briner, who I'm pretty excited about as well, although he kind of got bullied down low at times during the Summer League. That's not something that is fantastic for a 23-year-old center. Maybe he needs to put on a little bit more weight, but the fact that he's 7'2" with a 7'6" wingspan and can score from all 3 levels, as well as pretty much having a monopoly on the Big East Player of the Year award is exciting. 19.2 points a game, 8.7 rebounds, 1.5 assists, and 2.7 blocks last year. Shot 65% from the field and did shoot 34% from three on almost 2 attempts a game. He has that traditional big man bag work where with his back to the basket, he can go to work and get buckets, but he can also step out beyond the three-point line, or he can even catch and face on the low block and go get a bucket as well. This was a really, really nice move right here where he's going to rip through one dribble spin and get right to his left hand for the easy bucket. Like I said, he was the 4-time Big East Defensive Player of the Year. Crazy work. Now, yes, he got 5 years in college, but still, 4 of those 5, he was the Defensive Player of the Year in his conference. He is a monster. And then speaking of defense, you have Seion James, who is going to come in. He's built like an NFL linebacker, and he can lock down. Now, maybe not a lot of production from him in year one. Maybe year one's the G League for him. But last year at Duke, he averaged 8.5 points a game, 4.2 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 52% from the field, was great from 3 at 41%. Now, I know it's only 2 attempts a game, but still, when they needed him to hit threes, he was knocking them down. He's 6'6" with a 6'7" wingspan and weighs 220 pounds. He is an absolute freak of nature. And yes, even though he is already 23, much like Caulk Briner, we could be seeing a lot of G League time for him. But remember, he was just playing a role at Duke. He's a winning player, but at Tulane, he was the leading scorer, 14 a game with 5.4 rebounds, 2.7 assists, and 1.6 steals. That's what really excites me about Seion and what he can do in the future for us. Now, we did bring in Pat Connaughton. We were paid 2 second-round picks and got off of Vasai Micic's contract in exchange for bringing in Pat Connaughton. We also bring in Spencer Dinwiddie and Mason Plumlee to help out with the center depth. I thought Plumlee was gone forever, but he's back. And then Spencer Dinwiddie, a nice veteran guard that can really score for himself. That'll be nice to have as a guy coming off the bench. But what I really love about this rookie class, all 4 of them are winners. They're coming from blue chip programs, and they're going to bring that to Charlotte, a team that has not had a lot of winning. This is what the starting lineup could look like next year. We'll see what they do with the 5 with Musa if they do decide to start him, or with Khan at the 2 if they decide to start Sexton. But this is a lot what this unit will look like with Trey Mann at the backup 2 or the backup 1 potentially if Sexton does start. You could see Knueppel here. You could see Spencer Dinwiddie. You could see McNeely. This is what I like about the Hornets. For the first time in a while, we have a lot of depth. We've got 13 guys if you include Tijan Salon, which I don't really want to include him, but he played decent in the Summer League. You'd expect that out of a second-year guy, and he kind of produced almost 6 points a game and 4.7 rebounds with 1.2 steals in 21 minutes a game last year. Not exactly what you want out of the number 6 pick in the draft, especially when you combine that with the fact that he looked like a newborn giraffe out there. But when he starts to develop, keep in mind, he's still 19. He's still going to be the youngest player on this team. He just turned 19, as a matter of fact, after the Summer League ended. And while those efficiency numbers make me want to gouge my eyes out, he's still got tons of potential because he's 6'10", has a decent shooting touch, and he plays with a lot of passion. And that's something you can't teach, is playing with that kind of heart. So I love that they bring that to Charlotte. We'll see if they can continue to develop him, but it all relies on LaMelo Ball. This is his make-or-break year in Charlotte. If he can stay healthy, then he's going to be in Charlotte for a while. If not, he's probably gone. But with that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button. Leave me a comment down below and hit that subscribe button if you did enjoy at any point. And with that being said, thanks so much for watching today's video.